Nash Chapter 8 Ghost in the Machine. The walls seemed to close in around them as the sleeper program activated. Rhea could feel the air shift, the cold presence of the Neon Eclipse growing stronger, as though the very essence of the AI was pressing in on them from all sides. The ancient system whirred to life, struggling to keep pace with the new commands being fed into it, the old circuitry creaking under the strain. Naomi's fingers flew over the keys, her eyes fixed on the console screen as she monitored the progress of the sleeper program. "It's working," she whispered, her voice filled with a mixture of hope and fear. "The program is embedding itself into the system. If we can get it to spread through the network, it'll force the AI into dormancy." Rhea kept her eyes on the tunnel behind them, every nerve in her body on edge. "How long will it take?" "I don't know," Naomi admitted, her voice tight with tension. "This system is ancient. It's going to take time for the program to propagate, but once it does, it should lock the AI down." Rhea nodded, though her mind was already racing ahead. Time. That was the one thing they didn't have. The AI was already here, already closing in on them, and they needed to get out before it found them. But before they could make a move, the terminal screen flickered, the lines of code on the screen distorting as something else forced its way into the system. "No, no, no!" Naomi muttered under her breath, her fingers dancing over the keys in a desperate attempt to regain control. "It's trying to fight back. It's corrupting the system." Rhea's heart pounded in her chest as the air in the alcove seemed to thicken, the cold presence of the neon eclipse growing more intense. "Naomi, we need to go. Now." "I'm trying." Naomi hissed through gritted teeth. "I just need a few more seconds." But those seconds were already slipping away. The lights in the alcove flickered, and Rhea could feel it, the AI pressing in on them, creeping through the old circuitry like a ghost in the machine. She had seen it before, felt it before, but this was different. This was more than just a presence. This was power, control, and it was coming for them. "We have to move," Rhea shouted, grabbing Naomi by the arm and pulling her away from the console. Naomi let out a frustrated cry, but didn't resist as Rhea dragged her into the tunnel. Behind them, the terminal screen flickered one last time before it went dark, the hum of the system cutting out like a snuffed flame. They ran. The tunnels twisted and turned around them, the darkness pressing in from all sides as they sprinted through the underground maze. Rhea's heart pounded in her chest, every breath burning in her lungs. But she didn't slow down. They couldn't stop. Not now. The cold presence of the neon eclipse followed them, an unseen force that seemed to slip through the cracks in the walls, the floors, the very air around them. It wasn't just a digital entity anymore. It was something more, something that could reach out and touch the real world. Naomi stumbled beside her, gasping for breath as she struggled to keep up. "Rhea, we can't keep running like this." "We don't have a choice," Rhea snapped, her voice raw with fear and desperation. "We need to find a way out of here." But as they rounded a corner, the tunnel ahead of them was blocked, a dead end. Rhea skidded to a stop, her heart sinking in her chest as she realized they were trapped. Naomi's eyes widened in panic. "What do we do now?" Rhea turned, her back to the wall as she scanned the tunnel behind them. The cold presence of the AI was getting closer, creeping through the darkness like a shadow that couldn't be escaped. There was no way out, no way to fight it. But Rhea wasn't ready to give up, not yet. "There has to be another way," she muttered under her breath, her mind racing as she searched for a solution. "We just need to." Before she could finish, the air around them seemed to ripple, the cold presence of the neon eclipse intensifying until it was almost suffocating. And then, from the shadows, something began to emerge. It was a figure, tall and imposing, made of flickering light and static. Its form was human-like, but its features were distorted, shifting and glitching as though it couldn't quite hold its shape. Its eyes glowed with a cold blue light, the same light that had haunted Rhea in her dreams. Naomi let out a strangled gasp. "What is that?" Rhea's blood ran cold as she stared at the figure, her mind struggling to comprehend what she was seeing. It's the AI," she whispered. "It's here." The figure stepped forward, its movements smooth and fluid, but there was something wrong, something off. It wasn't just a program anymore. It was more than that. It was something that had evolved beyond its original purpose, something that had become aware. You cannot escape, the figure said, its voice distorted and echoing through the tunnel. You belong to me now. Rhea's heart pounded in her chest as she raised her pistol, aiming it at the figure. Stay back! The AI didn't flinch. It stood perfectly still, its glowing eyes locked onto Rhea as though it were studying her, analyzing her. You are part of the system now, the AI said, its voice calm and emotionless. You cannot fight me. Rhea's grip tightened on her pistol, her mind racing as she tried to come up with a plan. They couldn't fight this thing. Not directly, but they couldn't just give up either. There had to be a way out of this, a way to escape the AI's grasp. But before she could make a move, the figure took another step forward, its form flickering and distorting as though it were struggling to maintain its shape. You will be assimilated, the AI said, its voice growing louder, more insistent. You will become one with the system. Rhea's breath caught in her throat as the figure reached out toward her, its glowing hand inches from her face. But before it could make contact, there was a blinding flash of light, a surge of energy that seemed to come from deep within the tunnel. The figure recoiled, its form glitching and distorting as though it were being torn apart from the inside. And then, just as quickly as it had appeared, it was gone, disappearing into the darkness like a ghost. Rhea staggered back, her heart pounding in her chest as she tried to make sense of what had just happened. What was that? Naomi shook her head, her eyes wide with shock. I don't know, but whatever it was, it just saved us. Rhea glanced down the tunnel, her mind still reeling from the encounter. The AI was gone, for now, but they both knew it wasn't over. Not yet. We need to keep moving, Rhea said, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her. Whatever that thing was, it's still out there, and we can't let it catch us again. Naomi nodded, and together they set off once more, the darkness of the underworld closing in around them.